Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? The Mandalorian and Grogu has new leaked footage from a Disney stockholder meeting from yesterday where Bob Iger finally retired as CEO and had a big send off with all of his successful things that happened in his tenure as CEO. And we got a new CEO of Disney for the foreseeable future with Josh D'Amaro. We also got to talk about Ahsoka Season 2 leaks today, which is, if you guys know me, that's got me pretty damn excited. Maul Shadow Lord, of course, we got a trailer for it a couple days ago. We'll be talking about that. And Starfighter. Ryan Gosling is promoting his new movie, Project Hail Mary, and with that comes a ton of questions about Star Wars, and I'm loving it. But we got a lot to get into and not a lot of time, so without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? We are talking about pretty much every upcoming Star Wars project and video game today because there is an update for every single one. It's a crazy week. We got the Maul Shadow Lord series. You thought that would be the only thing we would be talking about, but no. Ryan Gosling is promoting his new movie, so he's talking so much about Star Wars Starfighter. We got leaks for Ahsoka Season 2, leaks for The Mandalorian and Grogu, and if that's not enough, fans themselves are putting it into their own hands to make Battlefront 3. Yeah. We'll talk about it, but we got so much to get into, but before we do any of it, let's start the stream the only way we know how, by saying hi to everybody in the chat. Shall we? Holly, how we doing? John Groom in the house. Starship 66, what is up? Javier, how we doing? The Ultimate Benson, what is up? Clive Morris, how we doing? Starship 66 in the house. Brandon Baker, what is up? Darth Plagueis lives, how we doing? 50 Thunderer in the building. Max Rebo is in the house. Nathan, what is up? Melissa, how we doing? King Shadow in the building. All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
All right, I feel like we should start with the Mando and Grogu leaks. Maybe coming from the footage from yesterday. What do we think? What should we start with today, chat? You tell me in the chat. Do you want to start with the Mando leaks? Do you want to start with the Ahsoka leaks? Do you want to start with the Starfighter stuff? There's a lot. What do you want to start with? Let's start there. And we'll even put up a poll to begin with. Let's put up a poll. One that we haven't really talked about in a while, and something that may have changed in your mind since we got the trailer. So let's do this. Which upcoming Star Wars project are you most excited for? Your options are going to be Mando and Grogu, Maul. We'll go sort of in order here. I guess not, but you know what I mean. Maul Shadow Lord, Ahsoka Season 2, and Starfighter. Of course, there's the video games and all the other stuff, but these are the big four right now. Which one are you most excited for? I know you're going to say all of them, but which one are you most excited for? Most excited for. We'll start there. Okay. Now, Mando first. All right, we'll start with the Mando stuff first. Because this is, I guess, the most important. It doesn't have me the most excited, but it is probably the most important that's happening right now. Because yesterday there was a stockholder meeting, or an investors meeting, whatever you want to call it, where Bob Iger said his farewell for all the years he spent as the CEO of Disney, and we have a new CEO. But in all of that, we got snippets and new footage from The Mandalorian and Grogu, with two specific new images, which are pretty great, where you got Din Djarin, I guess this is one of them right there. But let's take a look at these. So, new footage for The Mandalorian and Grogu. We could even... we won't watch that. So I've been seeing this all over the interwebs since yesterday. The Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer dropped, and if you missed it, Ezra Bridger, Iman Esfandi, the actor who plays Ezra Bridger, is in the trailer. So it's pretty crazy that they got Jabba the Hutt in the new Spider-Man movie. Wild times we live in. But let's take a look at this. So this is only 4 seconds. That's it. 4 seconds. But take a look. Okay.
Ready for an adventure? Ready for an adventure?
Hang on.
Ready for an adventure?
Now, it may seem like nothing, but it is actually pretty important.
Ready for
This first one is just Din talking to Grogu. In the reflection of his helmet, you can see the Razor Crest, which is, you assume this is on the Adelphi base, and this is where they're about to go on their adventure, as he says. Are you ready for an adventure? This is probably going to be an opening scene of the movie where they're going on the main mission with the new Razor Crest to start off whatever's going down in this movie. Nothing too crazy there.
adventure?
Grogu suit up scene, that's in the trailer. Nothing new there. But this. Din Djarin whipping out the flamethrower in some sort of underground cave system. And the cool part about this is we've seen this cave system before in very, very, very small snippets of the Mando trailers that we have. And it makes it very clear that whatever's happening underground here, I think this is Nal Hutta. It might be involving the Twin Hutts, but whatever's happening in these underground caves is extremely important to the plot of the movie because they put it in for like a blink you miss it type scene. Right here, it's a blink you miss it type thing, but in the other trailers as well, it's blink you miss it scenes where Din is fighting droids in the hallways or whatever it may be. He is in these cave systems. Reminds me of Geonosis. I seriously doubt it's going to be Geonosis. That would be insane. I think it's going to be Nal Hutta and involve the Hutts. At least I hope so. And yeah, Geonosis would be wild. It does, the lights on the walls are very weird to me. I don't know what's going on there. Looks like a raindrop lighting system. I don't know what's going on there. But either way, this is very important, and they just keep talking about how important it is just by showing us very, very small snippets. And Din does not really seem to be too, he's not in a battle stance right here. This is just him burning down whatever's in front of him. As you can see, the nice flamethrower, which he will be utilizing quite a bit in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, as we've already seen him use it twice. Yeah. But it's not like he's fighting somebody. His other arm is down. He's calm. He's normal. He's ready to go, but he's not like fighting anyone. This is just burning down the house. I guess the question may be why. Is that a pod behind him or not?
Ready for
Oh, hang on. No, it's not. Okay. I mean, what do we think he's burning down here?
ready?
Seems to me he's burning down the audience. He's burning down us. It's infected? Interesting. Say more. Here's the thing. What the hell is happening in this movie? That's more so my question. We got the Hutts. We got the criminal underworld. Oh, thank you for that super chat. I'll get to it in 1 second. We got the criminal underworld. We got the Imperial Remnant. We got the Empire AT-AT walkers. And yet still, a scene like this makes absolutely no sense. He's in some random cavern. He's burning it down with his flamethrower. Why? What is happening here? It's insane to me that we are 2 months away, almost 2 months away from this movie, and the little that we know is insane. Clan Brandalorian, what's up, Brandon? How we doing? Says, is Din Djarin sacrificing himself? Maybe flamethrower in front of Grogu to keep him away? Got me thinking. Well, damn, is Din Djarin dying right here? This is not the way I think he would go. Maybe it is. I don't know. See, I don't I am very much on board the idea that Din Djarin could die in this movie. I know, shocker, right? Now, I am, because what his character means to all these other people around him, what he could actually, what this story could benefit from if he was killed off, and how all these heroes could come together around him, like an Avengers level, like they could avenge his death, and what it would mean for Grogu. I'm not going to sit here for the next 2 hours and say, oh, Din Djarin's going to die this, Din Djarin's going to die that. However, I haven't yet found, at least from all the trailers and the information and the leaks that we have, how Din would die. You know? Why would he die? What would be the purpose? Now, Holly brings up a great point. Maybe he's burning Imperial supplies, but again, why? We haven't seen this cave system other than a blink you miss it scene in the trailer. Why are they keeping it a secret? What's happening on this planet? What if he's burning down where Stinky the Hutt lives? Well, that would just be mean. That would just be quite rude of Din Djarin. That would, no thanks. No thanks. Now, there is another. Let's get to the other one. We can speculate on this more, of course, but let's get to the other one because there is another clip. We got Pedro Pascal putting on the mask here, so let's take a look at this one. This is sort of a behind-the-scenes one. Look. Was there no audio to this one? I guess there's no audio to this one. There you have it. I'm assuming this isn't in the movie. It looks like, you know, a behind-the-scenes photo shoot type thing. But still, Pedro Pascal under the mask. Contrary to all the leaks and scoopers from 12 months ago saying that Pedro Pascal was never on the set of Star Wars. He was too busy doing other things. Din Djarin is no longer Pedro Pascal. It's just the people under the suit, and he's not a part of the character anymore. Blah, 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 blah. That's why we always say take it with a giant grain of salt when we talk about leaks, because a lot of times they're not right. But Pedro Pascal, from what Jon Favreau has told us and from what we learned last week, he will be under that mask for a lot of this movie. He even went on to talk about how watching Gladiator 2 and seeing Pedro Pascal do all those badass fight scenes made him think that he could do more under the mask as Din Djarin, and that's what we're seeing in this movie. We know already for a fact that he will be taking off his helmet at least once. I guess somebody takes it off for him, but either way, we will see Pedro as Din Djarin for the first time in 6 years in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Because the last time we saw him was at the end of Mando Season 2, and that was in 2020. 6 years ago. Wild. But here we got him putting on the helmet. Now, these are leaked. This is leaked footage from the Investors Day meeting. So I'm very curious to know if there was more footage. It obviously wasn't just a 2-second and 4-second clip for The Mandalorian. It was a lot longer than this. But was the rest of the footage just the same as the trailer, and that's why they didn't leak it out? There could be more to this that just wasn't shown publicly. And we're just getting this. A Din Djarin suit-up scene, or a suit-up behind the scenes maybe, and then this of him burning down.
Ready for an adventure?
Burning down something. Burning down the house. Yeah. Burning down the house. Maybe he's burning the space snake. Oh, the dragon snake? Well, the dragon snake was in water, and there doesn't look to be much water around here. Now, I still think that dragon snake is the Twin Hutts version of their Rancor that Jabba the Hutt had in Episode 6. But I think Grogu will still save the day there. You know? Yeah. All right, let me get to the super chat really quickly, and then we will continue with this. But yeah, we'll read that article next. All right. Darth Plagueis Lives with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, will we see more characters than just Zeb Orrelios crossover from The Mandalorian and Grogu to Ahsoka Season 2? First of all, thank you for the super chat. I hope so. I hope so. Now, here's the deal. We don't really know the full extent of characters that will show up in The Mandalorian and Grogu. So I can't really tell you how many will cross over. there's a possibility that we get a cameo in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, maybe towards the end of like a Hera Syndulla, and then yes, those characters will obviously cross over. I guess I'll ask you guys, do you think Din and Grogu themselves will be in Ahsoka Season 2? I've always said that Din and Grogu are done with the small screen. There's not going to be a Mandalorian Season 4. I think we're getting a Mando trilogy, and I also think Din Djarin's going to die, so he's not going back. But either way, they could make a cameo appearance in a different show, and this wouldn't be anything irregular. They show up in the Book of Boba Fett. It's not something that's never happened before. Crossover characters like Carson Teva being in Mando and Ahsoka. This is something that's normal in the Mandalorian, in the Mandoverse, in this post-original trilogy timeline. Characters cross over all the time. Maybe it's a very brief cameo towards the end of Season 2, but Din and Grogu could very well show up. Or a character like Bo-Katan. If they're going to attack Dathomir and have this big war in our Star Wars in Season 2 of Ahsoka, Bo-Katan could be involved in that. Bo and Ahsoka at least have a pretty long friendship. And now Ahsoka's in a different galaxy, but either way, the two of them have a very long history together, so it could be. We know for a fact that Zeb will be in both, but there could be more. Absolutely. All right. But let's continue this. So, Disney reveals new Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu footage during shareholder meeting. Star Wars fans are now just 64 days, that's insane, away from finally seeing a brand new Star Wars movie on the big screen. The first new Star Wars movie in 7 years in the form of The Mandalorian and Grogu, the follow-up feature film from director Jon Favreau from the hit Disney Plus series The Mandalorian. In recent weeks, recent week promotions of the film have started to ramp up with a new trailer, a TV spot, interviews with various magazines like Empire Magazine, and even some exclusive footage is playing in select theaters, which we talked about on Tuesday's live stream with that leaked, the scenes that were only shown in a specific theater that showed Din Djarin up to his neck in water and Zeb and Din walking through a desert, which could be Tatooine or could be any other desert in Star Wars, but still pretty crazy stuff there in select theaters. Though astoundingly, nobody had managed to get any footage of those behind-the-scenes featurettes playing in IMAX, which is very strange in this world of, iPhones, this world of cellular devices where you can take videos of anything. It is kind of weird. All we have is a couple of pictures with helmetless Din Djarin, and some eager Pedro Pascal fans managed to snap another glimpse. Yesterday, brief new footage from The Mandalorian and Grogu debuted during the latest Disney stock shareholder meeting. The first since Bob Iger stepped down and was succeeded by Josh D'Amaro, who pointed to The Mandalorian and Grogu being one of the marquee feature films released from Disney this year, alongside other titles such as The Devil Wears Prada 2, Toy Story 5, Moana live action, and of course Avengers Doomsday. Now, here's how I look at this. Devil Wears Prada 2 is a sequel to a 20-year-old movie. A pretty successful 20-year-old movie. I believe when we looked it up, it made something like 500, 600 million in its first go-around. So it could be pretty successful. Toy Story 5 is pretty much a guaranteed billion-dollar movie. As close to a guarantee as you can get. Same with The Mandalorian and Grogu. A Star Wars movie, 4 of the last 5 Star Wars movies have made $1 billion. As close as you can get to a guaranteed $1 billion. Moana. Now, granted, it's a live-action remake, and what are you going to do? The last Moana movie made over $1 billion. So as close as you can do as to get a guaranteed $1 billion in Avengers Doomsday. I mean, this could make $3 billion. This could be, insane, beyond insane. So it's going to be a good year for Disney, nonetheless. But we're hoping that The Mandalorian and Grogu could be a top dog. New footage posted by Mando 3 Media on Twitter, reveals 2 new shots of Din Djarin, including one of them where he's using a flamethrower, and some sort of behind-the-scenes footage. One being that Pedro Pascal putting the iconic helmet on to complete Din Djarin's costume. Of course, we got the shot of the internet's internet's daddy being leaked. Okay, odd choice of words there, but the flamethrower thing is still a mystery. And we watched these clips already, so we don't have to do it again. Given some of these shots have leaked from the shareholder meeting, we can't help but wonder if some of the footage featured is also part of the exclusive behind-the-scenes IMAX footage. Somebody go to this IMAX theater, please, and get the footage and send it to the Discord. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know why we haven't gotten it released publicly yet. I don't know who we got to pay to go get this footage, but there is a featurette playing in front of, I think, Hoppers, maybe, at exclusive IMAX theaters, and we haven't gotten this leaked out yet. I don't know what's going on, who we have to bribe, what we got to pay, but we got to get this out there. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Somebody get on that. But maybe eager Star Wars fans will be able to get a glimpse of the footage this weekend ahead of Project Hail Mary. That is, if it's attached. I kind of doubt it would be maybe. It's not a Disney movie, but it is still a movie, so I guess, yeah, the movie theater would play the trailer in front of it. Either way, Project Hail Mary has led to a bunch of Ryan Gosling interviews, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Last week, following reports that IMAX screenings at Odeon cinemas had an exclusive behind-the-scenes featurette, one of our writers headed to an Odeon to watch the early IMAX screening of Project Hail Mary with hopes of seeing the footage. Unfortunately, all they got was an alternate trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu that had been playing in front of Disney and Pixar movie Hopper, which does have a few new scenes, but we've already seen them. That has already been leaked out. We're looking for the featurette that has not been leaked out yet, but has Zeb and Grogu walking through the desert and has Din Djarin up to his neck in water. So, yeah, the new scenes that we've been all waiting for. So, stockholder meeting gave us a couple new looks at Din Djarin and him using a flamethrower and Pedro Pascal behind the scenes. So there's your Mandalorian and Grogu leak of the day. Now, we are, what's today's date? March 19th. We are just almost coming up on 2 months away from this movie, and the marketing is going to snowball quickly. I know we got to promote the Maul Shadow Lord series as well, which they will do, of course. We just got a trailer this week for that. But we're going to see new footage from The Mandalorian and Grogu probably every single week. And it might even become a daily thing, but every single week from here on out. You'll get some sort of new TV spot, some sort of new leaked footage, whatever it may be. I can pretty much guarantee from today until the release of the movie, we will be getting something new from The Mandalorian and Grogu every single week, which is awesome. Another thing which is very cool is the marketing for Maul Shadow Lord will start to pick up, and we already got the trailer on Monday. Right now, I'm looking at X, formerly known as Twitter, and Maul is trending. You're going to see a lot of TV spots for that show as well. And I know we just got a trailer on Monday, but I guarantee you that by next week, you'll have new footage. Maybe it's one scene, maybe it's 2 scenes, maybe it's 10 scenes, but you'll have something new from Maul Shadow Lord as well. Should we watch the Maul Shadow Lord trailer? I feel like we didn't start the stream the right way, which is by watching the Maul Shadow Lord trailer that came out 3 days ago. Should we restart the stream and start it the right way? Let's watch the Maul Shadow Lord trailer, Chet. If you haven't been hyped up enough today, let's watch this trailer and then get to Ahsoka Season 2 leaks. You know, if you haven't had a good enough day, let's watch a Maul Shadow Lord trailer and then talk about Ahsoka Season 2 leaks.
This is where the fun begins.
By the way, this trailer is still sitting on 8 on the trending movie charts, which is crazy because it's not even a movie. And it has 1.2 million views in its first 3 days, which for an animated show is pretty damn good. I mean, animated show, yeah. Let's watch it.
Our target is a syndicate leader. He is associated with several criminal organizations. And proficient with a laser sword.
The Empire tried to kill me. Their betrayal demands consequence. And that consequence requires a weapon. together, we can destroy the Empire.
He wants to fight as allies.
The Empire may be our common enemy, but Maul will never be our ally.
Rise.
We need to find him, whatever it takes.
This is escalating out of our hands. The Empire will want answers.
The Empire will lock this planet down.
Jedi, where is Maul? I'm right here. Let us have our revenge.
We're not gonna take out the whole Empire.
I mean, come on. I know I said it on Tuesday, but if you watch this trailer and it doesn't get you ridiculously hyped up, there's something wrong going on in your brain. I saw somebody mention it online, and it made me start thinking, is this the greatest Star Wars trailer we've ever received? And it's up there. I don't know if it's the best, but it's one of the best. I know this is about Maul. It's about the villain. It's supposed to be the bad guy. We've never really received that in Star Wars before. I know Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Empire, I suppose, focus on villains, but this is a full-on multi-season show about the bad guy. He's the titular character. He's the main character. In this trailer, not the horror vibes, yeah, they're cool, whatever. It's just so masterfully done from start to finish. And the whole stuff with Devon Izara and her master, and the fact that she's like, oh, Maul could be an ally, and he's like, no. But he's gonna die, so Maul's gonna. Yeah, we talked about that already. Either way, the hype level for Maul Shadow Lord has gone completely through the roof over the last 3 days. This trailer has gotten the fans cooking. It's gotten people excited. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you now for Maul Shadow Lord after this trailer? Tell me now in the chat. But let's get to the Ahsoka Season 2 leaks. We do have some Maul news, but we can get to it later because Ahsoka Season 2 leaks, of course. But tell me in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Maul Shadow Lord? By the way, the teaser trailer for Maul Shadow Lord from over 2 months ago, I guess, has 4.3 million views. So the hype level for an animated series for Star Wars is pretty damn high, which is not usually the case. Because a show like The Bad Batch, although it was really, really good, it doesn't have the same draw to a normie fan, to just anybody in the Star Wars fandom, as a show called Maul does. No offense to Omega, no offense to Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, any of them, Crosshair, of course. They are not Darth Maul. So just the name alone is going to pull in so many new Star Wars fans and old Star Wars fans to come check out the Maul series. I've had countless people reach out to me and go, is this Maul series, like, do I have to watch anything before to watch this Maul series? And I'm like, I hope not, because a lot of people are going to do that. A lot of people. But, I mean, look at the hype in the chat for this show. It's insane. And maybe it's because it's only in less than 3 weeks, and people are just excited because we're getting new Star Wars content. But it seems like this trailer did its job and did it freaking unbelievably. Because it's 2 minutes and 4 seconds of just probably the greatest, one of the greatest Star Wars trailers we've ever received. All right, now let's get to the Ahsoka Season 2 of it all. Let's get to this. So we have another set photo leak from Ahsoka Season 2. And honestly, it again puts the pieces together. Ahsoka, I mean, it's going to be absolute insanity this second season. from Peridia with Mortis Gods and getting Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker and the new leaks of Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Possibly getting Abeloth, and that's all just in one galaxy, because at the same time, in the other galaxy, we're getting a war in our Star Wars. Dothamir, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Night Sisters, Zeb Orrelios is back with the Ghost Crew, Hera Syndulla, Ezra Bridger, Jason Syndulla fighting against the remnant of the Empire, and the heir to the Empire is back. So, that sounds insane, obviously. And we've been trying to put the pieces together because we have so many leaks for Ahsoka Season 2. Unlike any other Star Wars project we've ever seen before, this is just spewing leaked footage, leaked images, leaked everything, leaked concept art, and officially posted concept art. But unlike anything we've ever seen before, they're trying to hype up Ahsoka Season 2 with all these leaks so much because they know how important of a show it's going to be for Star Wars. So let's take a look. We got a new set image from Ahsoka Season 2, the Peridia set. Now, we'll take a closer look at it in a second and how just enormous it is, but this Peridia set is even bigger than it looks from past images that I've been sent. Judging by the size of the vehicle in the background, it's huge. Another example of the kind of scale this move to the UK production has afforded Dave Filoni and company. There's this big thing that if you film in the UK, then you can get like a big percentage back on tax write-offs, whatever. So that's why a lot of films are filmed in the UK rather than in the United States. But also, I guess there's still a whole section behind where this photo was taken, according to a couple people that I've spoke to, where there's multiple sections of this plot of land that were used for different sequences and redressed to either be the Noti encampment, more to come on that, or more far-off locations on the planet. So Peridia is this massive set with multiple locations. I assume that these locations are going to be like Snowy Mountaintop for one, Giant Field for another, as it says here, the Noti encampment, which is the turtle-looking creatures that Ezra hung out with for the last decade, and where Shin Hati was with the bandits. That'll probably be another location as well. But the concept art images do give us some more intel on that. So let me actually pull this up in a different way so I can zoom in closer. This is our set image. Now, a few things going on here. One, oh, my head's in the way. Hang on. One, there is this tunnel-looking thing off to the right. It looks like just an so you can go under the set. Now, why you need to go under the set could be an infinite amount of reasons, but there's something going on there. But if you look closely here in that van that they were talking about, or that van in the background, that is a big-ass van. Like, this is, you're talking about, it kind of looks like a medical van, but it looks like, or like sort of like an ambulance type thing. It's a big van. Like, that's just the front seat right there where my mouse is. My mouse is pretty much like you put two mouse right there. That's a person. Like you stack a mouse on top of another mouse. It's a person. But that's how big this set is. That giant truck back there looks tiny. And there are multiple of these sets to do different locations for Peridia. They're going all out. I mean, the sets for Ahsoka Season 1 were enormous, but a lot of them you were able to do in studio with the volume or with just a blue screen or CGI because it was the World Between Worlds, or it was the bridge of the Eye of Sion, or it was on the Chimera. There was so many locations that you didn't really need a big field like this. Season 2 is going to the next level. It's getting way bigger and more practical, which is something that fans have been complaining about recently, which is less volume, more practical sets, and or Season 2 was very, very practical. I don't even know if they used the volume at all. And The Mandalorian and Grogu is getting the same reports that they've built a full life-size AT-AT walker for that movie, for the interior shots of the AT walker scenes. And they've done all these massive sets for just physical sets. Looks like the exact same thing is happening here with Ahsoka Season 2. And we can look at this and kind of put a corresponding concept art image to it, because we have this from Star Wars Celebration. Ahsoka and Sabine walking into what looks to be a skull of one of those giant droid creatures. And this, where Ahsoka and Sabine are sort of standing on a field type looking thing, looking out into a sunset. And that could be very well what we're looking at here with this image. Maybe you could CGI in the giant skull, this giant skull looking thing, and this is where they're walking. Or it could just be where they're looking at the sunset, and maybe it was a training sequence or a fight sequence. We don't know. But either way, this could be any one of those locations. It could also be where Sabine is fighting this giant droid. They fly now. Yes, they fly now. It could be where Sabine is fighting this giant droid. Call them Celestials, Mike. Yeah, but I don't like Celestial in the MCU is like an almighty being. I don't think this thing is gonna be that. You know, I like giant robot things because it's different from a droid. You know, when I say droid, you think R2D2, you think Chopper, you think C3PO. If I said giant droid, it wouldn't really. Giant freaking robot thing. I like that more. They fly now, yeah. So any number of these concept art images, and I'll even pull up this one, although it does look like they're in a cave of some sort there, but they could all be this location, which is Peridia, and who knows what the hell's going on Peridia. Yeah. Does Ahsoka have the same writers? I hope they step up their game. There's a lot of potential there. Well, I mean, if you mean Dave Filoni, then yes. The thing with Ahsoka Season 2, and Ahsoka Season 1 as well, and I still think it's extremely underrated. Season 1 of Ahsoka, just in terms of storytelling, just in terms of what it did for the lore of Star Wars and expanding the universe of Star Wars, nothing comes close to it. I mean, I guess I take that back. The Phantom Menace and A New Hope are the only things that are on that same level. A New Hope, it introduced us to the entire world of Star Wars. So I guess nothing can beat that. And then the Phantom Menace introduced us to Coruscant and the prime of the Jedi Order and all these different, I guess, midichlorians and the Sith and just a lot of different things. A lot of different new aspects to Star Wars. Ahsoka Season 2 is number 3 on that list. Maybe even number 2 on that list behind A New Hope. It introduced a brand new galaxy to Star Wars. It gave us the World Between Worlds in live action. It brought back Anakin Skywalker from the dead. That's debatable, I guess. It gave us Mortis Gods. It gave us all this other stuff. Now, Mortis Gods have been introduced, but in order to play it out in live action and give us a brand new galaxy with Night Sisters and their origins and the amount of expansive lore exploration in Season 1 is just absolutely insane. And that doesn't even add in the fact that it brought in the Rebels crew into live action. It gave us Grand Admiral Thrawn, the heir to the Empire, in live action. It's just leaps and bounds ahead of everything else around it. In terms of story-wise, in terms of if you, I guess, action-packed, do you like it? That's completely up to you. That's 100% your opinion, a subjective thing. But objectively, it pushed the boundaries of the lore of Star Wars more than most, more than almost all other Star Wars projects that have ever come to be. For live action, it's definitely top 3. For animation, I guess you could argue that Clone Wars with the Mortis God arc and the Yoda arc where he goes to learn to become a Force ghost, that's definitely expanding the lore a lot more. You can just do more in animation. Same with Rebels. I mean, Rebels with the Mortis Gods, with the World Between Worlds, with all that stuff in Season 4. It's the same thing, but in animation, you can do that. In live action, only a few projects come anywhere close to Ahsoka Season 1. So Season 2 is going to do that and put it to the next level. Now you're going to be introduced to, hopefully, the actual Mortis Gods in live action, maybe even Abeloth in live action, and you're going to get a full-on war in our Star Wars, which has only ever happened in a couple of different Star Wars projects. In live action, I should say. So, I mean, you're talking Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, the Battle of Scarif, Battle of Scarif for sure. So Rogue One, A New Hope, the end of Phantom Menace. about it. That's about it. Yeah. What if it turns out that Sabine wasn't actually trained in the Force and it was simply Ahsoka working through her? What? Which is why she constantly makes bad decisions? Well, that's Sabine's MO. Constantly making bad decisions. And I'm so sick and tired of the Sabine shouldn't wield the Force. I don't understand how in the same world, in the same galaxy far, far away, we're okay with younglings who have zero, zip, nada training with the Force being able to Force levitate things, Force push things, do anything and everything. But after over a decade of training with Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight, Ahsoka Tano, I guess she's no Jedi anymore, but let's be honest, Ahsoka has more training than anybody else right now. Ahsoka Tano, and having the Darksaber and Ezra's lightsaber for over a decade. The fact that she's able to force a lightsaber to her hand is, oh my God, sound the alarms. This is the end of the world. It doesn't make any logical sense to me at all. The fact that she has to overcome her Mandalorian side of her, which is pretty much everything opposite of the Jedi. That's why there's only ever been one Jedi Mandalorian in existence. And she does it over the course of a decade? There's not another character in Star Wars where it took a decade for them to ever wield the Force. Never happened. Never once. But the person we complain about is the person that it took a decade to accomplish? Oof, sorry. It makes no sense. But either way, I digress. Ahsoka Season 2 is going to take that next level up in terms of scale. In terms of how big this truly can get. A war in our Star Wars. And in a completely different galaxy, massive sets that span over these giant fields where you're going to see Mortis God statues, possibly Abeloth, and these giant, celestial giant freaking robot things. And I like this one personally. I know there's no snow in this leaked set photo here today, but that's gonna be awesome. Bale and Skull standing on the snowy mountaintop. Ahsoka's ship right there. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Yeah. And then we did have, this was another set photo leak that we got from months and months ago, but now we're just, putting all these set photo leaks together. Dathomir in live action, which is great. And now we got Peridia in live action, which is even cooler. Not going to lie. How cool would it be if Ahsoka had a part in Leia's training? Well, Leia didn't really have much training. Like, she stops her training pretty quickly because of the visions that she gets of Ben Solo and all that. Because she gets pregnant right after Return of the Jedi, right after the Battle of Endor. Yeah. Yeah. Anakin and Ahsoka are my favorite characters, but I'd rather watch Andor any day over Ahsoka Season 1. I mean, to each your own, but that's definitely not that's not my take on that. No. Anakin and Ahsoka are my two favorite characters, and Maul is number 3, and that's why this year is going to blow my freaking brain. Like the back over here, my brain is going to be on that wall right there, just because of the content that we're getting this year from all my favorite characters. Yeah. But there you have it, our new set photo leak for Ahsoka Season 2. And it's enormous. I mean, this set is gigantic. They are going for it in a very big way in Ahsoka Season 2. And it's got me excited. So we're just getting leaks on leaks on leaks when it comes to Ahsoka Season 2. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But there we have that. Now let's switch our gears a little bit here to back to the Maul Shadow Lord of it all. All right, we'll get to Starfighter, but let's talk Maul Shadow Lord because it has been the topic of discussion for the last couple days here. And we got the titles of the episodes and their release dates, which is cool. And some people have been connecting it to Revenge of the Sith. But I think there's something that pretty much no one's talking about right now that seems to be the most important thing for Maul Shadow Lord. And that is a character that isn't in any of the marketing so far. We've gotten 2 trailers. He's not in either trailer. We've gotten a couple posters. He's not in any of the posters. And it's a character who we know for a fact will be in Maul Shadow Lord. So I'm very confused as to why he's not in any of the promotional material. They're keeping secrets again, and we're just here to figure them out.
This is where the fun begins.
So take a look at this. We've already read this entire article. We read it on Tuesday. But whenever a Star Wars trailer gets posted, we get an article along with it. And with Maul Shadow Lord, this one was big because it gave us names to all these characters. You got the Jedi Padawan, who's Devon Izara, which is the Twilight Apprentice, who will likely become, canon version of Darth Talon. Her master, Iko Diodaki. The Rook cast, of course, we already knew that. We got names to the 2 Zabrak brothers that are in the trailer and on the poster, Icarus and Scorn. We learned this new scoundrel character, Ludi Vario, who's right there on the poster. Brander Lawson, his partner Droid Two Boots, and his son Riley. We learned all these names. The weirdest part of all this, if you scroll down here, is where they go to the cast of the show. Sam Witwer voicing Maul, no surprise there. Gideon voicing Devon Izara. Recent Golden Globe and Oscar nominee Wagner Moore, which, by the way, Wagner was up for Actor of the Year or whatever it's called. What's the actor award? Michael B. Jordan won it, but Wagner was up for the exact same award. And he's going from being an Oscar nominee to the voice of Brander Lawson in Maul Shadow Lord. Like, they didn't pull out any of the stops here. They went for the big guns when it comes to voice actors in this show. But Richard is voicing Two Boots. Dennis is voicing Master Iko Diodaki, which, again, Dennis Heisbert. I guess I know him from, what was the CW show he was on? Either way. But another big name there. I just saw Chris's name. I'm watching Invincible, so maybe it was on Invincible, but he's voicing Ludi Vario. Charlie's voicing Lawson's son, Riley. Vanessa Marshall, very familiar name to Star Wars fans, is back as Rook cast. She's also Hera Syndulla, the voice of Hera Syndulla. But this is the one name that makes no sense to me. Marok in the trailer. Steve Blum, voice of Zeb Orrelios, is Icarus. This name right here, David Collins as Spybot. David Collins has been around Star Wars for decades. He's voice of many, many, many characters in the animated shows. He's even specifically, I guess, most known for Proxy in the Force Unleashed games. He is playing a character named Spybot. And this is not just like, some leak or theory. This is confirmed. This is StarWars.com. He is playing a character named Spybot. A character who is not in either trailer for Maul Shadow Lord and not on the poster either. And things get even crazier and just straight up weird when you look at this. Sam Witwer. Oh, what the hell just happened? Where'd it go? What the heck? Hang on. Now I gotta find it again. Sam Witwer. Damn it. All right, let me find this really quickly. Sam Witwer tweeted out something a few months ago. So let me scroll down now because it refreshed the page and now it went all the way back to the top. Where he was saying that in 2020 or 2006, I believe it was. Damn it, Sam, why do you tweet out so many things? Well, these are all retweets. Can I just get to his posts? Is that a thing? Is that a thing I can do on the X? I guess they're all posts. Damn it. Damn it. Hang on, Chad. We will find this. Because it is very important. The fact that this mysterious character is just here and nobody's talking about it is weird to me. They're keeping secrets again. And it makes no sense as to why. They don't have to. They don't have to at all. But they are. Oh, it's like finding a needle in a haystack here. Sam Witwer posts a ton on Twitter. All right, I'm not going to find it. Unless. All right, I'm not going to find it. However. Oh, I found it. Oh my God, I'm a freaking genius, Jet. All right, here we go. In 2008, best friends got to play best friends. In 2026, we do it again. David Collins was Proxy in the Force Unleashed game. This is the two of them right there. Of course, Sam Witwer plays Starkiller, and this is David Collins, Proxy. And they do it again in Maul Shadow Lord, as David Collins will be playing Spybot. So in 2008, best friends got to play best friends, and we do it again, meaning Spybot and Darth Maul will be, quote-unquote, best friends? Now, if you don't know how this relationship works, this character was pretty much designed to train / challenge Starkiller pretty much through both the majority of the Force Unleashed games. And sure, they were friends. Best friends is I guess, an overstatement. But Maul is going to have Spybot. Yeah, as Kyler brings up, is Spybot going to be the canon version of Proxy? Is Maul going to be the canon version of Starkiller? I guess not in that way, because Starkiller is the apprentice to Vader, and we know for a fact that Maul's not going to be the apprentice of Vader. But you are seeing aspects of the Force Unleashed game. It's almost like a combination of a bunch of things here. Maul Shadow Lord is Force Unleashed. All right, let's put it this way. Maul Shadow Lord is Force Unleashed meets George Lucas's sequel trilogy. Because in George Lucas's sequel trilogy, you had Maul as the main villain and the leader of the criminal underworld with a Twi'lek apprentice named Darth Talon. That is exactly what's happening here, but now it's before the original trilogy, right after the prequel trilogy. And Maul is the leader of the criminal underworld, or he's going to be making this criminal empire, and he's going to have a Twi'lek apprentice. The exact same thing as George Lucas's sequel trilogy. And then you sprinkle in a lot of aspects of Starkiller and the Force Unleashed characters, because Proxy is pretty much going to be replaced by a canon version named Spybot. And just like Sam Witwer says here, in 2008, best friends got to play best friends, and in 2026, we do it again. Proxy is Spybot, and Proxy was best friends with Starkiller. Spybot's going to be best friends with Darth Maul. And the strangest part of all of this is the character does not exist to the fandom right now. Spybot is just a name to us. He's not in any of the trailers. All of these other characters that are in this article, every single one of them, Devon Izara, Brander Lawson, Maul, Two Boots, Master Dio, Ludi. Actually, is Ludi in the trailer? He's on the poster at least. Riley, Rook Cast, Marok, Icarus, all of them are on the poster, and I'm pretty sure all of them, maybe not Ludi, but all of them are in the trailers as well. All except for Spybot, the so-called best friend of Darth Maul. It seems like I'm the only one who seems to care about this. And it's going to be extremely important when this show gets released. This is going to be a huge part of the series. Maybe he's related to Lobot? No. However, he could look similar to that. I think it's going to be a droid, but he could just have that, whatever you want to call it, enhancement on his head. Possibly. Where is AP5, my favorite droid? AP5 is your favorite droid. That's awesome. Maybe Spybot is his laser sword? No. Why would his laser sword talk? It's a speaking role, that's for sure. We know that. It's a speaking role. Now, the thing with this, too, is it's possible that we get introduced to Spybot in this show. Like Maul finds Spybot, or this character named Spybot, in season 1. Like it's a new character to Maul, and they become best friends. A droid and his master, I guess. Now, we know for a fact that we know for a fact where Maul's story goes. We know that he ends up on Malachor 5 by himself, losing his mind. No Crimson Dawn to be seen. No Kira to be seen. No Devon Izara to be seen. No Twilight Apprentice to be seen. And then we know where he dies. Actually, speaking of that, 8 years ago today, we got the scene of Maul versus Obi-Wan in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, 8 years ago today, the Twin Sons episode was released, and we got this. Probably one of the top 10, if not top 20 lightsaber duels in Star Wars. I mean, I know it's not crazy, like they're not jumping around, and it's a very quick lightsaber duel, but the meaning behind it is just 20 years in the making. I guess less than that, but at the time it was less than that. Now it's 20 years in the making. I'm trying to think what lightsaber duels are better than this. Obviously, Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, The Phantom Menace. The Acolyte for sure. Luke versus Vader. I guess both times. And then the conversation gets interesting. I guess you'd say Palpatine versus Maul and Savage. Ahsoka versus Maul. I'm only at 7 right now. You could easily make the argument that this is a top 10, 100%. You're saying 9 years ago this came out? This article says, wait, what? Is it 9 years? Are we being lied to here? Let's see. It says 8 years ago. Let me check. When did the Twin Sons episode of Rebels release? 2017. You're right. 9 years ago. What? 9 years ago. Okay. I don't know why this article says 8. It says 8 like 30 times. It's a little misleading. But either way, we know where Maul's story goes. We know where it ends up. It's this 15-year gap in his story that we're exploring with Maul Shadow Lord. That's why this is going to be multiple seasons and all of that. But the interesting part to me is that this character is in the official article for Star Wars and is the only character that's not on the poster and not in the trailers. So there's something significant about this character, and even Sam Witwer calls him the best friend of Maul. Very strange. Very strange. But having said that, the hype for Maul Shadow Lord has gone through the roof since that trailer dropped on Monday and this article dropped. It's just weird to me that nobody else is talking about this, and maybe it's because the hype is all about the trailer and the horror aspect, and nobody cares about a Spybot character. But it's interesting. The parallels of Maul Shadow Lord and Starkiller and to George Lucas's sequel trilogy are insane. Do you think Kira will be at the end of this series? Not at the end of season 1, but she'll be there by the end of the series run, yeah. Yeah. Indeed. I wonder if Maul will do or is even capable of Night Sister magic. I hope not. I don't want to see Maul doing any magic. No. It wouldn't really make much sense either. But, okay. Moving on, we do have some other news to get to. Ryan Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter. So this was, I guess, we kind of saw this coming because Ryan Gosling is promoting his new movie, Project Hail Mary. He is in every interview that he has, he's being asked about Star Wars. And he was actually on the New Heights podcast. Give me a 1 into the chat if you know what the New Heights podcast is. Just you know, just curious. Just curious. But he was on the New Heights podcast. We're going to watch a clip from that where he talks about the movie, and he had an interview with Variety where he talks about it as well. So we'll watch these clips because although he doesn't really give much away because he can't, NDAs galore, Starfighter, for some reason, I guess not for some reason, but has a lot of hype behind it, even though it's already a year. It's over a year away. And people are really excited for this movie. Maybe it's because the cast. Maybe it's because Ryan Gosling. Maybe it's because Sean Levy. Maybe it's because it's unconnected to anything else in Star Wars. But people are really excited for this movie. And we don't get it for a whole nother year. But let's take a look. So, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Let's watch this article first. It's the shorter one, so we'll watch the shorter one first, and then we'll go from there. This one's the one with Variety on the red carpet of the movie, I'm assuming. I don't know, but here's what he had to say. Again, we're talking practical effects.
On the upcoming Star Wars movie, are there practical puppets?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I can say that. Yeah.
You can say that.
Yeah,
What was the difference between the puppets on the sets?
Well, now you're going to get me into trouble.
Okay.
So I think I've already said too much.
On the upcoming.
So he's asked about the difference between puppets because in Project Hail Mary, he apparently works with this alien puppet creature. So he can't talk about that. But practical puppets indicate that it's going to be a bunch of, aliens. Shocker. In Star Wars, crazy. But for the most part, from what we are aware of, and again, we don't know really. Oh, okay. I got a notification that Star Wars posted something. You want to know what Star Wars just posted? Breaking news! Star Wars just posted something. Check this out, chat. Breaking news. Where is it? What the heck? Where is it? Breaking news, chat. Star Wars just posted this. Apparently, it's impossible to find. Oh, here we go. It's a trap. Okay, so whenever I see Star Wars pop up, I'm like, trailer? Something crazy? Now, first and foremost, that looks bomb. But it was a trap because I thought it was going to be something epic, and then it ends up just being Admiral Akbar as a freaking dessert. Ice cream sandwich. Oh, I could go for an ice cream sandwich right now. That looks bomb. But it's a trap. Okay. Having said that, where were we? Oh, yeah, Star Wars Starfighter. So practical effects mean, you're going to get puppets. You're going to get puppet characters. What they're going to be, I have no idea. Do they have the recipe? Yeah, I think that's sort of the gist of this, right? They show you the recipe. Yeah, tells you the recipe. Should we make it, chat? Should we make it right now, live on the air? No, okay. But let's get to this other clip because it's a little bit more, I suppose. This is coming from the New Heights podcast. If you don't know what the New Heights podcast is, it is, if you don't know who these guys are either, I can't help you. But Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce, the Kelce brothers, had Ryan Gosling on as their guest, and they talked about the upcoming Star Wars movie. So let's take a look.
I love it.
Or a
What's the
listen, I
next big
suppose.
guy? Are we sticking in the sci-fi? Are we like Star Wars movies next? How do we get right? Is there a sequel to this? Are we already thinking how we're gonna do this?
So what's funny is he asks about, is there going to be a Star Wars movie next? Not even knowing that he's doing a Star Wars movie.
I'm hoping Andy
sequel
has
to
an
that?
idea because I would love that. But I
Holy
just
smokes.
finished a Star Wars film, which will
Hang on. Can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Ba-ba!
come out next year.
Awesome.
What? Really?
Okay.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Are you able to give us any information on that? Like, what's
It's not part of the timeline of the other Star Wars films. It takes place in its own timeline, and it's all original characters, and it's directed by Sean Levy, who did Deadpool, Wolverine most recently, but he also, the Stranger Things, and just so many things. A Night at the Museums. He's such a perfect director for this. He just completely got the tone. And it was crazy. It was crazy to be working on a Star Wars film.
That's so awesome.
Do you guys?
Well, before he continues, this to me is kind of bad news. It's bad news for the fan who was hoping that in some way, shape, or form, this movie would connect to anything. Because it's not. He even mentions how it's not even in the same timeline. Now, we know that it takes place 5 years after Rise, so that's 5 years after anything that we've seen before in Star Wars. This is the first project post-sequels, and it is technically in a new timeline in the Star Wars universe. But new characters, new timeline, the hope of us getting any connection, the hope of Flynn Gray being a Skywalker seems to be out the window. The hope of Amy Adams playing Mara Jade seems to be out the window. Now, I guess the cool part of it is, for fans holding out hope for new and not Skywalker related, this is the project for you. But we know for a fact that there's lightsabers in this movie. Why is that bad news? Well, it was more so bad news for me because I want Amy Adams to play Mara Jade. That's the bad news for me. Now, granted, Mara Jade would still technically be a new character to the canon of Star Wars, so maybe he's, misremembering. But what I will say is, for the fans holding out hope that this was going to connect to Rey's New Jedi Order, to the possibility that Flynn Gray was going to be dropped off at Rey's New Jedi Temple, that does not seem to be the case anymore. And this is going to be a completely separate story, which becomes even more interesting when we know for a fact there are lightsabers in this movie. Things get really, really weird post-sequels when you introduce lightsabers. The Sith are supposed to be gone, as Palpatine says, I am all the Sith. And the Jedi are supposed to be pretty much gone, as Rey says, I am all the Jedi. But Rey is starting her new Jedi Order. So who is Ryan Gosling's character? Who is Flynn Gray's character? Who is Matt Smith and Mia Goth's villain characters if they are wielding lightsabers? Are they Sith? Are they Jedi? Are they just people who found lightsabers? Who are they? And what are they doing? The idea that it's completely new, unconnected in its own new timeline, as he puts it, makes me think that we are in for something we've never seen before. No Jedi, no Sith. But still with lightsabers. I think Flynn Gray is Broom Boy. Well, that would, again, be an old character. That would not be a new character. He should have said post-Skywalker saga. Well, I guess the way he words it, he doesn't mention the sequels at all. And I guess that's for a reason. I don't really know if he did that on purpose or not. But when you think about the amount of hatred you see online for the sequel trilogy, and I've always been the sequels aren't my favorite movies. They've come around quite a bit over the last couple of years for me just because of the Shadow of the Sith book, all the comics that just came out with the Legacy of Vader comics and stuff, all the stuff that pretty much explains what the hell's going on and explains it well. The Bad Batch, The Mandalorian helping it out greatly. But all that to say, there's so many people out there, millions and millions of Star Wars fans, who despise the sequels. Like, you mention their name and they start to foam at the mouth. So with the marketing for Starfighter, I really doubt that you're going to see any of that. You'll see any sequel talk. They'll just say, this is something new. This is something beyond anything you've ever seen before. And that's how it'll go. But let's keep going.
Are you guys Star Wars fans?
I love it. I mean, I wouldn't say like we're as plugged into like the very minor, like minutia, but yeah, very big fans.
Yes.
I feel like we're kind of plugged in, chat. You know, we know a little bit about Star Wars. I feel like we've watched a few things, read a few books, talked a little bit about Star Wars in my day.
Same. It's like I didn't realize, like I didn't see it until I was older, but I had Star Wars sheets, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely had everything
like,
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was always around, even if I hadn't seen it. It was just it's like the Beatles. It's like always been there, you know?
Correct.
And you don't realize.
That's a crazy comparison. The Beatles, like everybody and their dog knows who the Beatles are. They know what the Beatles are, but that is what Star Wars. I mean, it's a good comparison. It's a crazy comparison, but it's a good one. Even for fans, or even for people who aren't big fans of Star Wars, that don't watch the Maul Shadow Lords, that don't watch the shows on Disney Plus, that don't really dive into the nitty gritty of Star Wars, they still know what Star Wars is. They've still tapped into the Star Wars universe, whether it's watching an original trilogy movie or a prequel movie or a sequel movie, whatever it may be, or they had Star Wars bed sheets. Every person in the world knows what Star Wars is and has some sort of attachment to it. Even these three who claim to not be giant Star Wars nerds, they're like, yeah, Star Wars was always around. Everywhere, always. At the store, it was your bed sheets, it was everywhere.
How much a part of you it is, how it defined your idea of what's a hero, what's a villain, what's score, you know, what is font, what's a sound effect, you know, on all the levels. It just is so permeated like my sensibilities as a person who likes film. I didn't know until I got there just how deep it went, you know, so that was interesting.
Well, you just said good and evil. Are we a part of the Empire? Are we Jedi? Like what are
There's
we
like
in this
problem
film?
with the reception. It's
Fair enough. Fair enough.
There's gonna be a lightsaber that's just gonna come in and just said too much.
All right.
Okay, so they do switch their gears here for a second. They go away from Star Wars, but he asks if he's part of the Empire, part of the good guys, part of the bad guys, part of the Jedi. And this is not the first time that he's been asked if he's wielding a lightsaber this week. And both times he's dodged the question, hasn't been able to answer the question, and of course it would spoil a big part of the movie for us. But it does seem highly likely that Ryan Gosling, being that he is a main character of this movie, and that there were filmed lightsaber duels, that he is one of the people who is wielding a lightsaber. Think about the pitch to Ryan Gosling. Hey, you want to come to Star Wars? Yeah, am I going to wield a lightsaber? Absolutely you will. So it's hard to believe that if there's going to be lightsaber duels in this Starfighter film, that Ryan is not going to be one of the people wielding one. That sounds a little crazy to me at this point. And as he's dodged the question both times of whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, I think he'll be wielding a lightsaber. I think he's a good guy, obviously, but I think he'll be wielding a lightsaber. Actually, I want to put up a poll in the chat about this to see where you guys are at. But it is funny how he mentions the Empire or the Jedi. The Empire is gone. The First Order is gone. So, yes, there's going to have to be a conflict. We know Mia Goth and Matt Smith are playing villains in this movie. But who are the villains of this movie? Like, who are the bad guys? They can't really be Sith unless there's some secret Sith organization out there. And they're not the Empire. They're not... Are we looking at the Grisk? Are we looking at the Vong? Are we looking at maybe a new Sith Lord in Star Wars? Just 5 years after Palpatine's demise? In my favorite theory, which I guess would go against what he's just talking about, that this is all brand new characters, is that Mia Goth could be playing a Darth Talon. But I guess that would not be a new character, so to speak. But let's pull this up. Let's put up a poll. Wow, this poll is close. Holy crap, I did not expect that to win. Wow. This is shocking. Okay. Which upcoming Star Wars project are you most looking forward to? The options were Starfighter, Ahsoka Season 2, Mando and Grogu, and Maul Shadow Lord. In first place, with 31% of the votes, is Maul Shadow Lord. Fascinating. Now, maybe it's because it's the first one to come out. Maybe it's because it comes out in 3 weeks. But I did not think that that was going to win the poll. At 2 is Ahsoka Season 2 with 28%. 24% is Mandalorian and Grogu, and Starfighter at 17%. All very close. All very close within the percentages. But Maul Shadow Lord being at the top is crazy there. That's wild. Okay. Let's put this up in a poll. Do you think Ryan Gosling will wield a lightsaber in Starfighter? After now the second time this week, he has denied the fact that he will be wielding a lightsaber, or has, I guess, refused to answer the question. Do you think Ryan Gosling will be wielding a lightsaber, yes or no, in Star Wars Starfighter? What do we think? My best theory about the bad guys in this movie, Mike, is a Sith who was going to kill Ryan Gosling, who is going to kill Ryan Gosling in the movie. You think Ryan Gosling gets killed off in his first appearance in Star Wars? I don't know about that. I think Ryan is joining Star Wars, and he's joining Star Wars for a long time to come. If Mia Goth is playing Darth Talon, we are definitely going to see some skin. Oh my god.
I got a bad feeling about this.
You guys are crazy. But if she's playing Darth Talon, I guess that would kind of throw out all the brand new character type stuff. Because if Talon's being introduced in Maul Shadow Lord, that defeats the purpose. Yeah. The big bad is Grogu's temple. Grogu is the puppet. Is a puppet that he mentioned earlier. That would be wild. But again, that's not all new characters. That would defeat the purpose of what he's talking about here. Does he have to turn on the lightsaber? Yes, there's lightsaber duels happening on the set. We know that for a fact. Well, in Legends, there's Darth Krayt and his order. Yes, and Talon is a part in that, and I would absolutely love to see Matt Smith playing Darth Krayt and Mia Goth playing Darth Talon. But it doesn't seem likely at this point. If he's talking brand new characters, completely brand new characters, that would mean that Amy Adams can't be playing a Mara Jade. Flynn Gray can't be playing a Luke Skywalker's forgotten child. And Mia Goth can't be playing Darth Talon. Because those characters, although they will be new-ish, they're Legends characters being pulled to canon. Except for Darth Talon, who will be established in Maul Shadow Lord. If they want to go down the correct route, I think, personally, you establish this Devon Izara character as a Sith Lord, and you make her Darth Talon in Starfighter. And then you do the exact same thing with Darth Krayt in Kenobi Season 2, establish him as a Tusken Jedi, as Asherad Het, which was his original name, in Kenobi Season 2, and you have them fight on Tatooine, him escape, start his own Sith Order, and then now you have post-sequel villains, post-sequel Sith Lords, a new Sith Order to combat Rey's new Jedi Order that have connections, deep connections to the Skywalker saga. They're not specific characters that were involved in the Skywalker saga, but they come from it. They come from Kenobi Season 2 and Maul Shadow Lord. That's the way you go about this. If I was in charge. Now, I'm not in charge, so I have no idea what's going on with Starfighter, who Mia Goth and Matt Smith are playing, but that's the way I'd do it. They would be new to canon. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would be perfectly okay with Jeannie from Tahini. What's up? How we doing? I'd be perfectly okay with Ryan Gosling's character, Aaron Pierre was the name I was looking for. Aaron Pierre's character, Flynn Gray's character, like all these people being brand new characters, as long as Amy Adams is Mara Jade, as long as Mia Goth is Darth Talon, because that would connect you back. For us Star Wars fans, we'd be doing the Leonardo DiCaprio where we're like, oh, and the whistle that he does. And we'd all be talking about it, and it would have great callbacks and Easter eggs to all those things that came before. Now you'd have a connection to Darth frickin' Maul, as the villain is an apprentice of him or an ex-apprentice of him. But it would also explain the lightsabers. Darth Talon, Darth Krayt will be wielding lightsabers. But it does not look like they're going down that route. At least as of right now, as of March 19th, 2026, it does not look like they're going down that route. Yeah. You know I don't hate Rey in the sequels, but I do wish that they do nothing with her character ever again. Oh, I completely disagree with that. I think in order to save, again, I use save in quotations because a lot of people don't think she needs saving. In order to save the character of Rey, she has to be a post-sequel one. For Kylo, for Luke, for Leia, for Han, you can do those characters before the sequels. But for Rey and Finn, it has to be post-sequels. You have to give Finn that Jedi arc that he deserves in the post-sequels. You have to make Rey go through some struggle and maybe lose her Jedi Order, or maybe she turns to the dark side or something crazy like that after the sequels. With Kylo Ren, you can show his fall to the dark side. With Luke Skywalker, you can show him in his prime and then his fall. The First Order rise to power. That all happens before the sequels. With Rey and Finn specifically, that all has to be after the sequels. Yeah. Indeed. Okay. But that's what Ryan Gosling had to say. Pretty great stuff. And yeah, he can't really talk too much about it. But still, talking about Star Wars Starfighter is awesome. So we love to see that. We do have some other stuff here. In terms of, it was 9 years ago today. Here, come on. Should we watch this?
You must go now. I led him to you.
Should we watch it, Chet? Let's watch it. 9 years ago today.
A desire to dominate, to possess, but you have nothing.
We may get shut down here, so I'm just going to fast forward to the good part here. So good. Is he the chosen one? Indeed, he is. Okay. Having said that, to tie this all together, what I do like about that is in how this connects to Maul Shadow Lord and how it could even connect to Starfighter, if that is indeed going to be Mia Goth as Darth Talon. The lightsaber. The lightsaber of it all. In the Maul Shadow Lord trailer that we watched earlier,
with a laser sword,
you see Maul put these two sabers together. One half and the other half together to ignite the lightsaber. Now, by the time of Rebels, in the scene we just watched, he has a very different lightsaber, with half of it being an Inquisitor's broken lightsaber. So at some point in Maul Shadow Lord, he will get that Inquisitor lightsaber, which is wild. Meaning, this half that is detachable, this half on the left here, could eventually become Darth Talon's or Devon Izara's lightsaber. Because right now, Izara has a blue lightsaber, and maybe she bleeds the crystal, which would be awesome. But I don't know if we'll be getting a Kyber crystal bleeding scene in Maul Shadow Lord. I don't know. Either way, this half of the lightsaber could be now Devon Izara's or Darth Talon's. And then when that lightsaber appears in the future in Starfighter, you will recognize the lightsaber as the one that Maul gave to her when she became a Sith Lord. And that's the connection that would make this all so awesome. We know for a fact that Maul needs a new lightsaber. It has to be that half of Inquisitor's lightsaber. How he gets that, this show will explain it, and hopefully it explains that the other half of this lightsaber gets gifted to or given to Devon Izara, who eventually comes back with the exact same hilt years and years and years later in Starfighter. That would be awesome. You not only instantly recognize the character because she's a red Twi'lek or pink Twi'lek who's, a Sith Lord and trained by Darth Maul, but now you'd recognize her because of the lightsaber hilt. Because Maul needs a new one, and so does Devon. So that'd be really cool. And tie it all together. That's what we want. All this to tie together. Now, moving on a little bit here, let's talk about the video games aspect of this just for a second, okay? On Tuesday's live stream, we got the announcement that Ubisoft's video game was officially a Star Wars Monopoly, which I gave my very harsh opinions on because I'm not a big fan of Monopoly. Not at all. However, a lot of you guys were excited, so that's, cool. Now, the other big news was what came out today, and that was that we have, we have this. Starting today, Star Wars video games have officially changed forever. Fans can now create their own Star Wars video games, including Mario Party-style multiplayer games, first-person shooters, and even a Star Wars version of Mass Effect. So let's take a look at this article as well. This could be how Battlefront 3 gets made. Not by a studio, but by the fans. This stuff is crazy. Starting today, fans and gamers all around the world will be able to make their very own Star Wars video games. Lucasfilm and Epic Games have teamed up to bring Star Wars assets to the Fortnite Unreal Editor, or the UEFN. This is much bigger than a Star Wars specific season or some cool character to play as. This update allows gamers to develop any Star Wars gaming experience that they can think of, which I can guarantee you will be Battlefront 3. A trailer for a new Star Wars tool, which you can see below, which we will watch in a second, shows an example of example of the games that you can make and play, including a Mario-style multiplayer game, a Battlefield-esque shooter on Hoth, which is just Battlefront, a side-scroller with Luke Skywalker, a Pokemon-type game with droids, that sounds awesome, a large-scale dogfight game, and more. Let's watch the trailer. I mean, obviously it's still Fortnite, and that's what kind of deters me away, but it just looks like Fortnite still to me. That can change. Graphics obviously can change. That's insane. The power is in the fans' hands now. You can go create whatever Star Wars game your heart desires in a pretty much playground and use the Star Wars characters without any copyright infringement, without anything. You can do it right there in Fortnite. That's insane. There's going to be some pretty epic stuff that comes out of this. No pun intended. Epic Games. Funny. There is some pretty crazy stuff that's going to come out of this within the next couple days. So, Battlefront 3, it's on the table. Any sort of mini game that you could possibly imagine on the table. The update will allow players to use a ton of new Force abilities, enhanced Mandalorian jetpacks, and even Star Wars-themed UI and fonts. But one of the cool and as of yet untapped areas of potential for this update is a mechanic that allows players to talk with NPCs, akin to role-playing games like Skyrim. This means that fans can theoretically build a game like Mass Effect with this new update. Soon, Epic will enable support for first-person shooters, allowing creators to craft Call of Duty-esque games from the galaxy far, far away. Anything you could possibly imagine for a Star Wars game can be created here. First-person shooter games like a Call of Duty, or a role-playing story game like Skyrim. This is wild. Crazy stuff. Okay, continuing. I mean, look at that. Yes, it still looks like Fortnite, but that's Navarro, I think, right? This is new Navarro, right? Epic announced the update comes with 3 exemplar islands with the design that were designed with Lucasfilm. These include Hoth, Tatooine, and Navarro. I was right. This is Navarro. Okay, good. Navarro, of course, because the Mandalorian, and they're probably hyping that up, and Tatooine, because that is pretty much the main character of the planet of Star Wars, and Hoth. Interestingly enough, we are getting a snowy planet in the Mandalorian and Grogu. Could it be Hoth? Possibly. Classic scenes set in Mos Eisley Cantina and the Death Star are also available. Fans can begin creating their Star Wars game islands today, but they won't be able to publish anything for public access until May 1st, just in time for Star Wars Day. So you got about a month and a half-ish until we get this publicly. Well, you can create your own game now, but you can't publish it publicly. That's going to be crazy. When that drops on May 1st and people are going to be able to post their games publicly, you're going to see people who have made full-on video games that you can play, multiplayer, single-player, whatever, all in the same engine called Fortnite. Like, Fortnite's not a game anymore. It's just an engine that runs games, pretty much. Yeah. Wild. I want a Mortal Kombat type fighting game for Star Wars. You can do that. You can do that. This is insane. This is way bigger than the update that I thought we were going to get for this, and it's just mind-blowing. I believe it was a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, when we were talking about how Disney invested over $1 billion into Epic Games, into Fortnite, and we were like, what the hell are they doing? And then nothing happened. Nothing happened for over a year. And then we get this. Fans can make their own Star Wars video games. This is literally groundbreaking, never happened before, insanity. You can go into Fortnite and make whatever Star Wars video game your heart could possibly imagine. That's wild. You can go remake old games with better graphics. Any old game. You could do the Knights of the Old Republic if you want, because you got the NPCs. Maybe you don't have the planets, and building all those planets would take a while, but you have the opportunity to do so. This is wild. This changes gaming forever. Insane. Insane. So crazy. But there you have it. I do have to get on out of here. I got to go finish up today's short for the day. But wild, wild, wild times. Okay, we'll watch the Monopoly trailer. We'll watch the Monopoly trailer. Let's watch it. This came out 2 days ago. Oh, okay. Good thing we watched that because it did absolutely nothing. Okay, but for you Monopoly fans out there, you crazy people, let me end this poll first. Whoa, 52% of you say no, you don't think Ryan Gosling will be wielding a lightsaber. Then who will? Because we know for a fact there's lightsabers in this movie, so who's wielding them? 48% of you say yes. Pretty close poll right there. More interested in this Monopoly thing? What? That's crazy. You're more interested. You could make Monopoly in Fortnite. Star Wars Monopoly. If that's what your heart desires. You can make any game you could possibly imagine for Star Wars. Okay. But having said that, I do have to get on out of here. Smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Mike, do you not like Monopoly because no one dies? Okay, smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell to get notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up in that recommended feed of yours. And may the force be with you. Always. Chopper, are you kidding me? Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. This was quite the live stream. Quite the live stream, if I do say so myself. We had so much to talk about today, and we got to pretty much all of it, which is insane. I guess we didn't really talk about Iman Esfandi being in the Spider-Man trailer, but that's, Jabba the Hutt at his finest. All right, but with that being said, smash a freaking like on this stream. Watch it for a short in about an hour. And, yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. Whew.